Deepwokens Vow of Iron, a new and difficult mode added in which you go through the memories of fallen ancestors in order to experience the world of Lumen 38 years in the past. The Vow of Iron comes with tons of new lore additions, including faction-based ones and character-based ones, and in today's video I'll be covering that lore in detail for you guys based on what I have found on my own. And along with that, as of releasing this video, I'm currently live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4, so come watch me over there. I hope you all enjoy, and let's get straight into it. Alright, so first of all, let's cover the Reclaimer of the Recollection. He is the man you meet after wiping, and he is the man who you talk to level up, gain skills, and learn your tasks, and along with that, he'll occasionally just psychically talk to you in your head and give you messages and stuff like that. He allows you to go through mementos, which are the memories of fallen members of the Circle of Honor. For those of you that don't know, the Circle of Honor is a group dedicated to taking down the Ministry. It is also confirmed that the Reclaimer himself is a member of this Circle of Honor due to his motives, which are to take down Zaire, also known as the Fourth Prophet as the Ministry, also known as the Lord Regent, and some dialogue in which he relates himself to the members of the Circle in relation to himself will also, just proves that he is a member of the Circle of Honor. Part of the reason why we know this is because upon dying to the Lord Regent boss fight, at which point you will be immediately wiped, he says that the secret or key to defeating the Lord Regent must be found in another memory, and you just need to keep going through various mementos until you can find this key. Now, while he is capable of allowing you to experience these mementos, it is not really confirmed whether it is through the aspect of his bell, possibly his oath if he has one, or if it isn't an ability and is rather some sort of technology used to access the memories of the dead through their remnants. And now, it seems kind of like a technological thing, seeing as how there's like weird teleporter pods which are resemblant of the Matrix, but it really isn't the most clear in game. Regardless, your main goal in the Vow of Iron is to expose the weakness of the Lord Regent in order to find a way to finally defeat him in the main world, which takes place about 40 years later as slated by the developers over Discord, of course. Meaning the year counter in game is also not canon and is just for the community to count the time that's passed since the game's release. Now, as for the world of the Vow of Iron, a lot has changed in comparison to our main Pathfinder variant world, and first of all, and the biggest difference geographically, would be the lack of the entire island of Arisia. So at this point in time, Arisia is actually currently in the Void Sea, as it has just kind of drifted off, along with the Duke and the people who lived in Arisia at that time, which is going to be the main catalyst causing the Duke's, mental decline and insanity, and it's eventually going to be what makes him a more violent person willing to do whatever it takes to protect the Great Forge from the Lord Regent due to the time dilation which occurs in the Void Sea, which essentially gives the Duke what felt like hundreds of years of time to experiment on the people of Arisia, creating golems, his lab, the slaves that he has that are soulless, and using the Soul Forge for his own. Not entirely evil, because his motives are really just to prevent the Soul Forge from ending up in the Regent's hands, but he does it in a way which is not very ethical. As for the rest of the world, why don't we start off with Maestro Alkhurst Legato. So the Maestro previous to Evangard Rest would be Maestro Alkhurst Legato. Upon talking to him, you receive a message from the Reclaimer of the Recollection, in which he tells you that the old Maestro Legato, who was a member of the Circle of Honor, was unable to ever face the Lord Regent due to him staying at the Isle of Vigils in order to defend it from the Lord Regent. You see, the Lord Regent can't leave the throne, as it enables him to hold power over Etris, meaning anyone who wants to kill him needs to face him directly. But due to the strength of Maestro Alkhurst Legato, there is really no way for the Lord Regent to take over Vigils, because sending anyone after him would just result in, them not taking the land due to how strong he is, resulting in a stalemate between them, which would eventually happen. But this is also partially the same reason for why the current Maestro Evangard Rest doesn't kill the Lord Regent, with the other half of it being that Evangard Rest's reasoning is that without the Lord Regent, the Central Authority would raid Etris and take it over, and he can't fight off the entirety of the Central Authority and their higher-ups without the, ironically, protection of the Lord Regent. Anyway, the Maestro Legato would die, giving his life to defend the Isle of Vigils against the Lord Regent's forces, repealing them to the point where the Lord Regent no longer considers the Isle of Vigils as worth pursuing, especially modern day, with the Maestro Evangard Rest being the strongest Maestro seen in generations, with his Tempest Eye ability making him temporarily on par with the likes of Deepwokens such as Pleatsky. Through Alkhurst's dialogue, we also find out that the Iron Vow is not just the game mode we play in, but the vow itself was a vow taken by members of the Circle of Honor to take down the Ministry, with their main goal over the last 40 years being to take down the Lord Regent and find the King of Etria, who is also likely a member of the Iron Vow as well, and is a member of the Circle of Honor. And speaking of the Lord Regent, let's talk about Etris. During this point, Etris was split in two, with the Lord Regent taking over and plunging Etris into civil war. After the King of Etria was sealed away and the Lord Regent took over Etris, it would soon split into the Etrian Royalists, being those who rebelled against the Lord Regent and the new Etrian Empire under the Lord Regent, in which he would put the Shoguns and the Shogun Captain into power, using them as enforcers to enact his will across the Etrian Luminant. It's why you can find them pretty much all over the map except for on smaller islands. Now, amidst the chaos, the Central Authority would take advantage of the civil war to claim Fortress Cascabel, the most heavily defended and fortified prison owned by the Etrian Empire, which at that point would be renamed to Fort Merit and used as the Etrian Luminant's base of operation for members of the Central Authority. Early on, they also used the Civil War as a way to try and take Etris, which is why in Etris during the Vow of Iron time period, there is currently a three-way war going on between the Etrian Royalists, the new Empire of Etria, which consists of the Shoguns and Contractors, and then the Central Authority, who is currently trying to claim the land for themselves. All while the Lord Regent sits in his throne using his power to channel a barrier, which protects him and can only be broken by defeating the true heart of enmity in the Depths trial, which you only learn after defeating the Golden Rat King, Dravik. He is also a necessary boss, unlike the Shogun. If you want, you actually can just go fight this guy at Power 1. Regardless, Dravik the Rat King is the first king of the Golden Rats, and to our knowledge the last, since there is no second king after him in the Pathfinder version of the game, but it's unknown if he is the last king or not, or if we just haven't seen the new king. He is really only in search of valiant combat and is willing to die to a strong warrior, enjoying every strike to his last breath. Now, with all that being said, there is some major lore to unpack from the Fourth Prophet, and no, there really isn't too much of an explanation on why defeating the true heart of enmity also destroys the bubble that the Lord Regent puts on the castle. I think it's because of one of their earlier dialogues. It's like, oh, you wish to make an offering of us or something like that. So maybe you're making a deal and you're asking the voices of the depths to destroy the bubble for you, and then they're like, all right, fine, beat this challenge and then we'll do it. But at the same time, it's not really made clear because we don't see the character dialogue options that lead to this, so it doesn't really make sense. Anyway, upon reaching the Lord Regent boss fight, the first dialogue he says is, "So it seems honor comes to reclaim its lost child. You fools simply misunderstand. I have found a power far greater than your impotent little vow." This quote implies and basically confirms that before becoming the fourth prophet of the ministry, Zaire, the Lord Regent, was a member of the Circle of Honor and knows all about the Vow of Iron, which may also be why the Circle's members of this time period refer to him exclusively as Zaire and not the Lord Regent, with Zaire being the name they knew him as for far longer, seeing as how he only recently took power, becoming the Lord Regent at this point in time. His voice-acted dialogue also contains an interesting line being, "Pass my most foul regards to Reckon," which names a lore figure who we have not seen yet, or have we? You see, we don't actually know who the Reclaimer of the Recollection is. Recon could be him, for all that we know, because we don't know his actual name. So it honestly could be a number of people that we just haven't seen, so we'll eventually probably find out who that is though. Anyway, if you do manage to defeat the Lord Regent, your boss fight is cut off, as there are no memories going that far, and then the Reclaimer says that he will soon discuss with the rest of the circle how you managed to defeat Zaire, and in time you will soon prepare to defeat him in the real world, and from there, you wipe and you're set off to complete more of the mementos, with maybe potential more weaknesses that you could find in his defenses, which would be used to take advantage of. As for more of the world stuff, one thing you guys may notice is that your reputations are pretty low with every faction by default. Some factions like Hive will start out with hunted or enemy, and some of these are simple, others not so much. Etria, for example, has you hunted by default, as the Lord Regent hates the Circle of Honor, being an ex-member and now ministry member. On the other hand, the Etrian Royalists are neutral, as while you're both against New Etria, you're not necessarily allies by default, so you remain neutral with them. Along with that, you remain neutral with the Central Authority, as they really just don't have much to do with you. And while some high-ranking members of the Central Authority are members of the Circle of Honor, that doesn't mean all members of the Circle of Honor have authority ties, as the Circle of Honor is just a group opposed to the Ministry who want to stop the Great Drownings and just the destruction of the whole world, which is why both the Ministry and Knives of Eyeless consider you an enemy, as you're a threat and, they're both allies, they work together and they both hate you. The Summer Company and the Children of the Vey are basically the same as the Central Authority. They're just neutral because they don't know you well, and Lost Seltzer is friendly by default, just out of their nature and because it'd cause in-game complications if you were attacked by the guards every time you went into the depths. Now, the factions that are a bit weird as far as reputation defaults go are going to be Hive and the Ignition Union, which are weirdly outliers. So my personal theory for why the Hive is hostile by default is because of their isolationist nature. They want to be left alone, and they seal off their cities to outsiders, and due to rising tension during this time period, they might just tend to be more aggressive and defensive than usual because they don't want to be involved in the upcoming wars and the ongoing wars. The Ignition Union is a bit weird though. There isn't too much to go off of, but seeing as how the Miners Landing is currently fully active as a volcano, I think that the reason why they're hostile is due to the fact that they're a much more unstable faction right now due to their youth and the fact that they're new, and they're trying to guard their technological advances much more closely during this time in the game, while they're a tighter knit, weaker group than in comparison to when they are in the Pathfinder version of the game. And then finally, the last piece of lore I wanted to cover is the Chest Masters. So the Chest Masters are actually a guild, which you can go to Summer Company, and I got some dialogue from one of them that would say this, but they take an oath and belong to the Chest Masters Guild, which is a guild of master lockpickers who take commissions in exchange for opening up chests and stuff like that. So they swear, hey, you bring me a chest, I'll take some stuff out of it after opening it for you, and then you can keep the rest, and then that's just how they operate. Anyway, I'll be dropping my mini Christmas album for all YouTube members soon, so if you want to hear it, then buy a YouTube membership. Hope y'all enjoyed. Shout out to YouTube members of tier 2 or higher: Green, Brick, Goobka, High Card, Philip, Delusional Mo, Elstern, Fun Guns, Vikori, Axelor, Taco Hadar, Brock Lee, Carlia the Witch, Sugi Kuni, and Drizzy Drake Fan. I hope you all enjoyed. Have an amazing day. If I missed anything or you found some cool lore that you thought would be interesting to include, then let me know down in the comments below, and goodbye.